Brandon, from your perspective, what would be the ideal top three for the Jets? Like if you're sitting there draft night, you're watching the NFL draft, how do you want this to go leading up to the Jets at 4?
Okay, so again, there's so many contingencies. I just want to narrow the focus. Are we working under the assumption that they do not acquire a wide receiver? Yes?
Yeah, let's go with that assumption, that they don't get Debo.
I got you. No wide receiver. I would go, well, there is another variable. They really need to know where Becton is, and it really bothers me that he's not. I know it's voluntary, but here's a young man who's trying to reestablish himself, and he's the only one not there. The entire offensive room is there, and he's not. So if you're not convinced that he is a guy that you want to build a foundation around, and I think they're kind of 50-50, you could go offensive line at 4. You really can, especially if there's a run on defensive players to start the draft, which I think will probably happen. You might have access to the best lineman in football. So you could do that. You could go Gardner at 4. You could go Thibodeau at 4, and then a receiver 10. I would say my wish list, we're doing a draft show at the Sportsbook at MetLife on a week from yesterday. If the Jets walk out of this draft on Thursday with either Gardner and Thibodeau and or an offensive lineman, I mean, I think you've got to look at this as a monster win. Or Williams from Bama, if you can justify letting him ease into the situation. Those are the names. But listen, guys, we've talked about this for, I don't know how many years you guys have been in the business, but every year we think we know what's going to happen, and then one team does something wacky, and it switches everything up. And player evaluation, it's the height of subjectivity. So what I think the Jets should do, or who I think they might like, might not necessarily mesh with their war room philosophy. I think it does, but you never know until draft night.